Hello, friend. Welcome to Stories for Snoozing. If you enjoy calm stories to help you drift to sleep, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It helps others find us too. Now, settle in, relax, and let's begin our story. The path began as a suggestion, no wider than the width of a thought. It wound gently between tall firs whose branches leaned together like old friends sharing secrets. Mara followed it with quiet steps, her boots sinking slightly into the soft earth. The forest had been calling all morning, low, patient, persistent, and now that she'd entered it, she understood why. She came seeking silence, but the woods gave her music instead, the rustle of needles, the steady rhythm of a stream somewhere unseen, a dove's low call echoing through the canopy like a note remembered from a dream. Every sound seemed placed there deliberately, as if the forest had been waiting to perform this exact piece for her. Sunlight filtered through in small gold pools, each one a quiet blessing. Dust motes drifted lazily, glowing like soft sparks in the air. The world beyond, the road, the noise, the hours, felt like something that belonged to another lifetime. Here, the measure of time was the flutter of leaves and the slow heartbeat of trees. She reached a clearing. In its center stood a stump worn smooth with years and weather, a place that seemed to remember every visitor who had stopped to rest there. Mara sat, her pack falling gently beside her. The earth smelled of pine and rain, a scent that could heal anything if given enough time. She drew in a long breath. The air was cool but kind. Every exhale seemed to carry away a little of the weight she'd brought with her. It felt somehow like the forest was exhaling too, both of them finding rhythm in the same breath. Somewhere nearby, a creek murmured over stones. It spoke in small syllables, simple and eternal. She listened long enough to hear the patterns between the sounds, the places where water rested before beginning again. There was wisdom there, she thought, to move constantly but never in haste. The wind shifted and brought with it the scent of wildflowers, delicate, unseen. It brushed against her hair like a friendly hand. The trees above answered with a slow, satisfied sigh, branches stretching as if after a long sleep. A single leaf broke free and drifted down to her lap. It rested there like a small note of acknowledgement. She smiled. "I'm listening," she whispered. A jay darted through the air, blue and certain. The forest had shifted tone again, quieter, lower, like dusk preparing its first thoughts. The light grew warmer, stretching across the moss in long amber stripes. Insects began their evening orchestra, tiny, tireless musicians, each sound a thread weaving the tapestry of the coming night. Mara rose and followed the sound of the stream until she found it, a narrow ribbon of silver tumbling gently over stones. She knelt beside it, dipped her hand into the water, and felt the cold bite softened by purity. Ripples carried her reflection downstream until it vanished into light. Across the bank, a deer watched her quietly. They regarded one another without fear, only the simple recognition of two living things sharing the same moment. Then, with a blink as calm as a blessing, the deer turned and stepped deeper into shadow. Mara smiled again, softly, as if agreeing to keep the secret. When she stood to leave, the forest seemed to open paths that hadn't been there before. Each direction looked equally true. She chose the one that smelled of cedar and sunlight. As she walked, she realized the forest's voice had changed again, lighter, almost playful. The stream hummed behind her, and somewhere far away the faint call of an owl drew the evening closer. The deeper she went, the more she felt the quiet arrange itself around her like a familiar coat. Every step softened the noise in her mind until there was nothing left but the gentle pulse of the land. Her heartbeat slowed, matching the steady patience of the earth beneath her feet. She felt at home in a way that had nothing to do with walls or roofs. The forest darkened slowly, not as a curtain falling, but as a friend dimming the lights. Shadows grew longer, blending with the roots and stones until it was hard to tell where one ended and the other began. She stopped once more to listen, really listen. The sound of crickets, wind and water layered together like the pages of an ancient songbook. In that listening, she realized the forest was not silent at all. It was speaking in 1,000 small voices, all saying the same thing: be still, and you belong. Mara closed her eyes. Behind her eyelids, she saw green light and soft movement, the memory of leaves and wind. The air against her skin was cool, almost affectionate. Every part of her that had been restless began to rest. When she opened her eyes again, dusk had arrived completely. Fireflies hovered like wandering thoughts that had learned to glow. The first star trembled above the tree line, and the forest held its breath to watch it appear. Mara whispered a thank you she wasn't sure anyone or anything could hear, but she knew it didn't matter. Gratitude, like water, finds its way to where it's needed. She turned back toward the path, but before taking her first step, she glanced once more over her shoulder. The trees stood tall and untroubled, guardians of the night. Somewhere within their quiet, she could still hear them speaking, the language older than names or need. And though she didn't know their words, she understood their meaning. She would carry that calm with her, a small forest living beneath her ribs, wherever the road next led. Thank you for listening to Stories for Snoozing. I hope our story helped you unwind and rest a little easier. Until next time, sleep well.